Hi, I'm Rob, and in this James of War video, I'm going to take a look in the Soulforge, tell you what I think is good and bad in there. Going to take a look at this weekly event troop count Gobula, show you a really cool raid boss team using no Mythic, and a Underspire team too. So first things first, let's take a look at this count Gobula. Right, a Zygen epic, so interesting. It's a goblin, so we're going to get an extra turn. Create a mix of 14, that is a set amount. Green and bleed gems and gain an extra turn. So green and purple. Bleed gems are kind of slightly misleading. You'd kind of think bleed would mean red gems, but they're not. They're actually purple. So do remember that. But yeah, it's not a huge amount, but with that extra turn, that could make a significant difference. Does have a 10% chance to create a bleed gem when the turn begins. Is undying, immune to poison, disease, lycanthropy and deathmark, and allied goblins gain 2 life. So that's actually pretty good, you know. Especially with the extra turn, which goblins obviously love. If you've got a team of goblins where they use green and purple as their main colours, then this could be really good indeed. I'm going to give that a pretty solid, very useful, potentially good 7 out of 10 for you, Count Gobula. So as ever, get that all the way to Mythic level if you can, and enjoy. Anyway, a friend of mine's a little bit depressed. He got sacked from the Viagra factory accused of stealing. I guess they don't like hard workers. Oh dear. Alright, on to the Soulforge. The Forge of the Soul. Let's take a look at the weapons first. I'm not going to go over all the ones here on a regular basis. They're in my Soulforge extra video. I'll put a link to that in the description below. And don't get this dead end weapon from here either. Get it from the raid boss shop. It's going to cost you less in theory because you're going to get it from gems rather than spending your hard-earned diamond and all this other stuff. At the same time, because you're going to have to buy tiers to do the event. Do you see? Anyway, let's take a look at it. Zygen weapon. Will it have an extra turn? If it's got a quick as one of its upgrades, that absolutely makes it from the good into the extraordinarily good range. I doubt it though. Is an explodey summony weapon. If it had quick, that would almost make it ridiculously, absurdly good. Anyway, explodes and magic +1 green gems, grants a random status effect to all Zygen allies, then summons a Zygen troop. I was just thinking in my head then how good this would be if this did have quick. Because we've already got a couple of other explodey summony weapons from Zygen. So it'd be nice if one did have quick, because otherwise they're going to be quite samey. But it'd almost be too good if it had quick. We'll find out later on. I'm looking forward to getting to that stage. And I'll show it in this video if it's got it as well when I upgrade it. Alright, so like I say, I'm not going over all these ones that are in here on a regular basis. They're in my Soulforge extra video. Let's take a look at this though. Flesh Ripper. Very good indeed. Eliminate all armor from an enemy. Bang. No matter how much armor they had, especially on those like really high level events when the enemy's got like stacks of armor, gone in a single go. Boosh. Then deal magic based damage boosted by the armor eliminated. So again, the higher armor they've got, the more the boost is. That is really, really good. Absolutely fantastic weapon, Flesh Ripper. As is Norbert's Turnip. One of the essential weapons for so many different goblins teams. It's amazing. If you haven't got this, you need to get it today. Deal magic based damage to an enemy boosted by goblin allies, then create a mix of 6 red and green gems for each goblin ally. So when a whole team of goblins, that's so many green and red, it's nuts. Often gets an extra turn straight away, feeds into those green and red goblin troops. Make sure you got a couple of them, obviously. But then if it didn't get an extra turn, it's got quick. So it's nuts. Absolutely amazing, amazing weapon. Make sure you get this today. Absolutely essential. Goblins are one of the most annoying team competitions in the actual game. So yeah, fantastic. Doomed Breaker. Deal magic-based heavy splash damage to an enemy. +4 per tempering level boost. Stun all green enemies. Cleanse all green allies. Explode 4 gems. And if the enemy has a doom, explode 3 more. So quite a lot going on there with that. Does have Leaf as one of its upgrade, which is pretty cool because it uses green to get charged, and Leaf is Leaf Storm, which means it gets charged even quicker, especially if you get to explode those gems and get lucky. But yeah, the heavy splash damage can be significant when this is tempered right up. And effective against green enemies because you stun them all. That includes like people like Queen Beatrix, who can be really annoying, stops her cleanse, and it cleanses you at the same time. So in the right team, that is actually a pretty nifty weapon. The Dagger of Zyjin. Another one with quick. Remove all green gems. Gone, zip, as if they didn't exist, but with no effect. Then deal magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by gems removed. If the enemy is from Zyjin, or if the battle is in Zyjin, deal double damage. So, if the enemy is from Zyjin, this can actually be really good against goblins, because you do a lot of damage, and you get an extra turn as well as remove those green gems. And if you look at what's happening on the board, you can actually create gem matches from that. Just envisage those green gems removed and what that's going to cause regarding a cascade. So yeah, another weapon to pick up today, absolutely for certain. It's one of the only ones which actually of these cheap ones to buy. I usually say to recommend to buy these because they're just so cheap and they can affect your power levels even though you won't generally use it. But this is one you may actually use, so it is actually very important to get that one. Face stick. Kaboosh! In your face with that. Very painful. Dealing splash damage. What is splash damage? So basically you get that splattered into your face and your face gets splattered and does damage to other people. That's hideous. So splash damage to an enemy and explode 8 gems of one of their mana colours. Grief. Hideous. Splash damage with charge, which is pretty decent. Not bad at all. So many good weapons in Zyjin. It's nuts. Wand of Stars. I say every week, if you haven't got it, try and get it. Create 6 elemental stars, bless all allies, or create 7 umbral stars and curse all enemies. So excellent mana generator, can backfire sometimes, but very reliable if you use it in the right way, in the right situation, which you will learn as you play the game. I think I've done a how to use this properly video once, and the best way to go about using it so it's more reliable, but I'll have to check on that, because if I haven't, then I can do one. But yeah, absolutely fantastic. But even though it's the best weapon in the game and utterly essential, I would still pick up things like the Dagger of Zyjin and Norbert's Turnip first. And the reason is, these aren't going to be here again for a while. Wand of Stars is here every single week, so make sure you grab those other ones if you can't afford to get all of these today. Hack Job. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by Zyjin allies, then create a mix of 6 green and brown gems for each Zyjin ally. Doesn't have quick, so not as good as Norbert's Turnip. Still creates a load of gems though, but obviously it creates different colours. And again, creates loads of green and brown. This charges up with yellow and red, so make sure you got at least a couple of Zyjin allies which use green and or brown to make the most of that. Godmother's Wand. Explode 3 gems and then create a wish gem. Wish it was a little bit better than that. The wish gems are very good, but the trouble is, without an extra turn and only exploding 3 gems, it's not a lot of chance to actually make the most of that wish gem. You may actually give the chance to the ally to use it, which is not the idea with a weapon. These are all the Curse Breaker ones. We have a Gob Sticker next. Another Explodey Summoning Weapon. Explode, Magic +1, green gems. Grant a random status effect to all Goblin allies and summon a Goblin Trooper. Do love these. Still use them today. Really, really good. Just mana gen, status effects, and a summon. Really, really cool. Absolutely love them kind of weapons. Rock Stabber. Another one. Explode Magic +1 green gems again and again. Grant a random status effect to all Goblin allies, then summon a Goblin Troop. So your choice there of different explodey, summony stuff. And a new one coming today, of course, as well, which we'll check out pretty soon. A Doomed Buckler. Give a Magic +2 armor to an ally with a +3 per tempering level boost. And give barrier to all green allies, stun all green enemies. If the enemy has a Doom, convert 3 green gems to giant green gems. So it does have Tangling as one of its upgrades as well, which is actually really good. You're going to entangle the first troop when you cast this. In fact, you get Barrier. Barrier is actually really strong. And Barrier to all green allies is very strong again in an all green team against an all green enemy, which with these various restrictions can happen fairly often, and you get to stun those green enemies at the same time, which takes away all of their traits. So unless they're immune to stun, of course, but yeah. Good in certain situations, but pretty situational at the same time. And we have a Boom Rock lingering around at the bottom like a lingering rock of boom. Dealing damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by Goblin allies. As simple as that. Nothing too special about that one. So yeah, certainly those Norbert's Turnip and the Dagger of Zyjin, absolutely essential to try and pick up today. And that other one as well. The one that was the Flesh Ripper. Again, expensive, even just on the weapons on Zygen today. So yeah, really good. Right, let's have a quick sip of my coffee before I start doing these troops. Very nice. Start off with a cup of coffee these days, not a cup of tea, which is a bit weird, but I like it. In theory, 2 cups of coffee a day is actually good for you, apparently. Too much coffee can apparently be bad, but a moderate amount, i.e. 2 cups a day, can apparently have positive effects. Apparently. Alright, anyway, so troops, especially if you're a newer player, have a little look through these summoning stones, see if there's anybody there that you fancy or anybody that's well known in the game for being really, really good. Nobody here stands out so far. I mean, goblins, you should always try and get goblins dealing damage to a enemy and a random enemy in this case and gain an extra turn, but they always gain an extra turn, so it's really good to try and pick up goblins, and especially empowered troops. They're the ones that start off with full mana. Again, have a little look, see through there. Thrall is really good. Gets more powerful as you play the game, but it's pretty easy to unlock with normal chests. So be surprised if a lot of people haven't got that already. But you can pick up some Thrall from there if you don't have it yet, or him yet. Leshy, another good one. Look at that. Entangle all allies and enemies. Yes, allies. Destroy all green gems. That's with full effect. But he's immune to entangled himself, which means he could go up top and be immune to that entangle. Or you could have somebody else that's immune to entangle up top, or a whole team that's immune to entangle and then be unaffected by that. So yeah, actually really good, and only 8 mana cost as well. Very nice indeed. Anyway, let's, excuse me, take a look at these mythic troops. We'll start at the bottom and work our way up. And first up we have Mandragora. I think this kind of thing is a little bit underrated in the game. A lot of people just look at this stuff like the spell and go, ah, sounds a bit crap. He's rubbish. No, it's actually really good, because webbed branches it's got to be the easiest, best way to just web people in the game. Web a random enemy when matching purple gems. As simple as that. Just match purple and you can web someone, and that reduces their magic to 0, and then that could just reduce their damage down to an insignificant amount. Those Stellarex teams, those Chrysanthrax teams, the Diamantina teams, the Gobtruffle teams, the Queen Beatrix teams, all those ones that do mega damage or just loads of damage to wall or scatter damage, things like that, it just reaches their magic to 0 and they do such low amounts of damage. After that, it's just nuts. So web is actually mega powerful. So being able to web a random enemy simply by matching purple is just amazing. And gain bonus purple mana from purple gem matches is good because it charges up with purple. Only 21 mana cost. And reduce damage from skulls by 33% is pretty decent as well. So all of those traits are actually pretty good. So it does scatter damage boosted by webbed enemies times 10 ratio. So you can boost it up just by matching purple effectively. And then it creates 10 purple gems and can charge up and do it again. So yeah, the scatter damage isn't a lot, but in a purple storm, this thing can be lethal, because not only can it web the entire team pretty easily, providing they're not immune, but it can actually self-charge and do it again. So yeah, Mandragora actually very, very good. Not the quickest thing in the game, but that's what the game's about. There's plenty of troops for super fast, mega easy, just cast Leprechaun, or watch Pharaoh Kefru explode gems and then cast Chrysanthrax or Stellarex, whatever. There's other ways that people like to enjoy to play the game as well. So it's not always about crazy speed, basically. And some restrictions as well. You may be forced to use something like this. So it is important to learn how to use those kind of troops at the same time. Nebuladrix is the dragon on rotation, costing a significant amount of Dragonite extra, more than normal, 2,000, but does guarantee you getting this dragon. Now, if you're on a path to getting Stellarex, and this is the last dragon you need, I do recommend spending that extra Dragonite if you've got it. But don't blame me if you open a normal egg, cosmic egg, and get it straight away. That's just lucky. If you got lucky, then happy days. But the odds are basically the same as rolling a 6-sided dice and needing a 6. You can roll that thing 10, 15 times and still not get a 6. And it costs you an absolute fortune in normal Dragonite, and you would have been better off spending the extra. So it's all down to, do you feel lucky, as Dirty Harry once said. If you remember those old awesome Clint Eastwood films. Very good. Now I'm showing my age. Never mind. Right, who's next? Tuesday the Floozy, she's a legendary, we'll come to her in a minute. And the Colossus, next one. Pretty bad mythic this one, not really a fan of it at all. Destroy a 5x5 circle, or vague sort of a circle, being as though the shape of the gem board doesn't actually allow us to do a circle, which is a bit weird in itself. Then gain magic +1 armor and life, boosted by all gargoyle gems destroyed. So yeah, you need, it's not a lot of armor and life, and you need gargoyle gems to be able to be destroyed to boost it as well. So, and there's a 50% chance to create a gargoyle gem when my turn begins and reduce damage from skulls by 50%, and huge is a bit rubbish. But anyway, it is what it is, and the Colossus is kind of, based on his name, I thought it'd be a bit better than that, to be honest. Huang Long. Does damage to all enemies, magic +1, and there are individual 50% chances to gain magic +1 attack, gain an extra turn, and gain barrier, enchanted, or blessed. So that last one, you'll only get one of those 3 different things there. But the damage to all is pretty good, and when those 50% chances come in, they can be actually really effective, especially things like the extra turn, and things like barrier or blessed, depending upon if you've been affected by status effects and things like that. But look at that golden armor. Reduce damage from skulls by 70%. And also Dragon King is pretty cool too. Give 3 magic to all dragon allies when matching 4 or more gems. So Huang Long is pretty decent. And who we got next? We have Undyne. Bit meh, but it can be good against certain opponents. Does damage to an enemy and the next enemy below, boosted by merfolk and submerged allies. Submerge blue allies and silence blue enemies. So in a very specific situation, like you're an all blue team against an all blue team, the silence can be really strong. Stops them collecting mana, stops them casting spells. So get this guy charged up nice and fast, and you're going to just stop that team in their tracks, apart from skull hits, of course. And you can submerge yourself at the same time, which means you avoid damage to all opponents like Stellarix, Chrysanthrax, and Diamantina, King Gobtruffle, and so on and so on. All those, the blue ones that do that damage to all. So really good in a certain situation, but otherwise it's a bit rubbish. So he's kind of good, bad at the same time, and does submerge itself at the start of every turn, which means he's naturally immune to those damage to all troops, just by default of being there. So yeah, good, but bad at the same time. And what does he wear under his armour? Undyne pants. That's nearly as bad as my jokes. No, mine are worse than that. Anyway, on to the legendaries. Shegra, still awesome legendary. Create 8 red gems and convert all red gems to skulls. I can't remember if that got affected by the shiny level or not. I don't think it did. It must have done in some way, but I know the mana cost come down because mine's on shiny level 3. Normally it's 14. But did that do a different amount of gems before? I can't remember. But anyway, Shegra is absolutely awesome because when you create 8 red gems, they convert all red gems to skulls. And all you got to look at before you cast that is to see if any red would already make a 4-match alignment with skulls. And if it does, then you're going to get an extra turn anyway, as well as do a ton of damage, providing you're not entangled on the top troop, of course. But yeah, Shegra absolutely awesome in certain teams, and still very viable in the game. A Tinsel Tail, give all allies 4 magic as a set amount, with a 50% chance for each of the following. Deal magic +1 damage to all enemies, or explode 8 random gems, and give all allies magic +1 life. And Fairyfire a random enemy by matching green gems is pretty cool. Uses green to get charged up, and Fairyfire, you can inflict 50% extra damage on those opponents who are affected by Fairyfire. So yeah, Tinsel Tail's alright, again, if you get the luck of those 50% chances. And we have Zenith, create 5 Doom Skulls, boosted by evil gargoyle gems, and create an evil gargoyle gem when matching 4 or more gems is not too bad. It's an okay legendary. I don't think it's anything too fantastic though. Tuesday the Floozy, give magic +1 life to all allies, then create 9 yellow gems boosted by enchanted allies. You notice she doesn't use yellow, she uses green and red, so you must have somebody in your team that uses yellow to benefit from all those yellow gems. Otherwise, why are you doing it, is what you must ask yourself in that situation. Moon Festival sounds like a bit of a rude thing to me, but maybe that's just the way my mind works. 30% chance to enchant a random ally when an ally casts a spell. Would have preferred it to be a bit more than 30%, but it is what it is. And is that it? Is it? That didn't seem like 4. Was it 4? 1, 2. Yeah, it was. Yes, it was. Tinted Tail End and Sugar, of course. Right, so who gets my Mythic of the Week? Well, it's not going to be you, matey boy, because you're good but bad at the same time. It ain't going to be the Colossus, that's for sure. So it's between Hang Long and good old Mandragora. But just because that webbed branches is so strong, web a random enemy by matching purple gems, and it's got a chance to self-charge and repeat and do a moderate amount but consistent scatter damage, I'm going to give my Mythic of the Week to Mandragora. Absolutely fantastic in the right situations. Now on to the raid boss team and versus Rocky Dagonath. Hey, Adrian, Sharky. Yes, anyway, never mind. Deep King of Stone, apparently. Anyway, you must use the event captain, Lord Gobula. Has ×2 magic and earns ×2 score for this event only. So absolutely essential to pick that troop up and stick it in your team. So we shall do that at the shop. Basically buy whatever tiers you want. But at tier 1, you have to buy these in order obviously, but you get the Potion of Enchantment, really handy, enchanting all allies at the start of battle for this event only, and you get some souls, gold, sigils and more. Tier 2 is when you pick up Lord Gobula. Doing damage to an enemy boosted by bleed gems, which is actually purple gems. If they're a boss, deal 3 to 5 times damage based on my ascensions and gain an extra turn. 2 ways to get this to mythic level: either just get a tier 2 here, back out, use a couple of orbs of ascension to get it to mythic level, or buy all the tiers and get enough copies of it to get it to mythic level that way. Godslayer, don't really need it for this. If you can't afford those traits, don't worry about it. As long as you get the spell or you got the troop, then you are ready to go with that extra damage. But it is affected by your ascensions, so do get it ascended as far as you can. So yeah, if you're going to buy all the tiers, you may as well just get that special one at the beginning. It gives you tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. When you do that, you're going to have enough copies to get it to mythic level that way, but it does cost quite a lot of gems. But anyway, let's stick it in a team and see what we can do. We'll have a bit of fun with this one. No mythic for the people without any mythics, but we can have Norbert's turnip here. This is going to work really well, this team, on the basis of extra turn and looping element. It does damage to an enemy, so a nice bit of damage, boosted by goblin allies, that's the whole team. Then create a mix of 6 red and green gems for each goblin ally. And we also do sneak attack, deal 7 damage to the last enemy on 4 or 5 matches, which we'll be doing often. And it's going to start battles with 50% mana in our class. So damage, an extra turn, make sure it's upgraded with quick. Oh yeah, I looked at that new weapon, didn't have quick by the way, but never mind. You can't have everything. And a huge mix of green and red. All the green feeds into King Gobtruffle, who also does damage to all enemies and creates a mix of green and brown gems and an extra turn. So that is really cool. So we've created loads of green for Gobtruffle. Extra green will feed into Count Gobula. This is the new troop that everybody can have at today as well. So that is in the shop at the start of the game. So all that mana generally doesn't get wasted. And King Gobtruffle, that creates a load of green and brown, as well as doing damage. So the green feeds into himself and Count Gobula. All the brown feeds back into Norbert's turnip to do it again. Do you see? Lord Gobula does damage to an enemy boosted by bleed gems, that is purple, and we can use that to take out the God Slayer basically. And Count Gobula can be here to create a mix of 14 green and bleed gems and an extra turn. So again, when we match those green gems, all that will go into Gobtruffle and Count Gobula itself, and any purple will go into Lord Gobula. Yes, him. Right, so you can swap out Gobula for anybody else. If you've got like a Flame and Only, that'd be a really good one to swap that for. Anybody else that does another bit of damage, maybe even another King Gobtruffle. So yeah, there is options on that. I just like the way it's going to work with Lord Gobtruffle, him. Right, banners for this. I'm going to go for the desert banner. We're using all the colours, so no mana is wasted. So I can go for a basic +1 yellow, +1 brown to get the weapon as charged up as quickly as possible, because we do get a lovely 50% mana start with this. So get the weapon charged up, cast that, we are rocking and rolling really quickly. And regarding the talent trees, we'll have a bit of hunt, we'll have some knife throwing, we are using a dagger. You can have light fingers if you need gold in the game still and you're a newer player, but we don't intend to die, but I don't really need the gold, don't really need wind speed, so Shadow's Call, why not? Back up again, based on we don't really care about these two, might as well have a bit of backup. You can have Goblin Friend, but Stealthy is better for me. Cannot be targeted by spells, which is cool. Be a bit of a dodger. We can have a 30% chance to dodge skull damage, and then of course the 101, the excellent Rising Shadows. A 7% chance to assassinate the last enemy when another enemy dies. So let's jump into the game and show a few battles. This is going to work really quickly, because we can get that Potion of Explosion at the start of the game. We've got a 50% mana start, and it could be all over for the enemy literally straight away before we've even done anything. Right, so click yellow. The enemy is virtually doomed already, I can tell you that for nothing. Oh, look, just decided to give yourself 400 extra turns. But there we go. We're ready to go. Gob Truffle will wipe out. Sheesh kebab. Right, I'm going to do a couple more battles on this lower level and then we'll jump forward a bit, see what it can do on the harder levels. If you get lucky at the beginning, you can get charged up with this absolutely straight away. But I do like the way you can just take out somebody important, whoever you fancy at the beginning. Wow, I didn't get any matches from that. That's a bit weird. Well, we did have a 4-match in the corner, but the cascade worked out in our favour a bit better. And we'll just do one more, then we'll jump forward a bit. This is way too easy, because I want to show the looping element of how this team can loop when you're not wiping out enemies straight away. Yeah, it's going to be very, very straightforward. At first, King Gob Truffle just does the business. 3 times and Nishas for this. Don't need anything else. Going to be really, really quick and easy with 3 times Nisha. Right, let's jump forward a bit. I've jumped forward a little bit to where Rocky Dagonath starts appearing, but this is the team I'm actually going to go for and recommend as a no mythic team. I did change that troop. What is his name? Count Gobula. Didn't find that spell to be as reliable as I thought it was going to be, even though it should be good. It just wasn't working for me in a way that I like, so I did swap it for a Fundingus. Fundingus is going to explode magic +1 purple gems, then summon either a giant toadstool or an explode stool and gain an extra turn. But it's the exploding of the purple which is going to be really, really good for this. It's going to feed straight into Lord Gob and all our other troops at the same time, as well as gain the extra turns. It was a guaranteed thing rather than something which might work, which is what was happening with the other troops. So let's continue this. And we still got that combined damage of the weapon, which does damage, as well as the Godslayer and King Gob Truffle. So we've got the top 3 troops here all doing the damage, which is still going to work really well. So the cool thing about the weapon as well is, like if you're worried about like Matey Boy here getting charged up and it's submerged, you can actually use this to do some initial damage. Even if you're not going to kill it straight away, when you do your damage to all troop with Gob Truffle, for example, if he's not submerged, you'll take it out, but otherwise you can just take it out with the Lord Gob whenever you feel like it. So what should we do now? Should we do that? He's on no mana, but we'll take him out anyway, just because we feel like it, and then we'll explode some gems. That's got this up. Got the extra turn, may as well do this first though. And we'll click that extra mana, thank you very much. Oh, hang on, we've got some more down there. Let's not miss out on that sort of stuff. Take out the old Dicky Bird, make sure it don't flap off, and finish off with Gob Truffle. This is going to be like really reliable on the loop element, so we'll do that again, but a little bit quicker this time, just to show how it can hopefully work when it gets in full flight. There we go, we're ready to go straight away. Let's give him a little slap. Let's get our Gob Truffle up. Yeah, I didn't quite get him up there. That was a bit random, but we'll do it now. And then we can grab some red. That's got Fundingus up. Let's get rid of that annoying boss. Extra turn, explode purple. And Gob Truffle, someone survived. Let's use the Godslayer to just steal the glory and finish off. And we'll just do this a couple more times and we'll wrap this part of the video up and shift on to the Underspire. Right, what we got? We could do some yellow, couldn't we? Let's grab some yellow. That's the weapon. Like I say, if you want to do some supplemental damage to that thing straight away, you absolutely can. We'll do that while it's there though. Why not? Let's give them a little taster, a little warm-up. God Slayer's up the next round, so we can do that. Oh, grab that though for the weapon. We could finish them off, but it's nice to loop in it. So let's cast the old Fundingus. Let's splatter them in the face. We'll get an extra turn. Let's do that to finish them off. And he died anyway, but he would have been dead anyway the next round because we had the God Slayer up. Yeah, this is working much better than that other Count Gobula, whatever his name was. Do love a bit of Fundingus. Look at this, we're ready to go straight away. Didn't even do anything. And we are rocking and rolling already. This is going to be an absolute loop machine. Let's explode some purple. Let's do that damage with an extra turn. What? We got nothing from that. That was a bit weird. But we can create an extra turn that way, look. And we can still get rid of them. Create all that mana. And the God Slayer's up. And the job is done. Fantastic stuff. Right, let's call this the last one. This battle. You're the last one. Do you see? Gosh, goodness. What should we do? Let's it's probably a better match than this somewhere, but let's get some red and purple. And let's get that cheeky 4 match there. As ever with these things, if you're going to go a really long way in this, you can switch the class to Elementalist if you want to be really, really safe. On those later levels, you will actually create less. Obviously gems with this though, if you stick with this exact team. Oh, we'll do that because we're going to get an extra bit of Skull Basharooney there. Let's get rid of him and then use the God Slayer to take him out. Very straightforward, and this is going to work if you're a newer player as well because of the loop element of this. You can just keep on doing these things again and again and again. Now onto the Underspire, and this is going to be a very similar team to that team I just showed for Raid Boss, but we're going to take out the God Slayer troop and swap in somebody else. You can have King Gobtruffle for this, a second one, that will work really, really well. But if you've got the troops, then some Flaming Oni will really charge the team up quickly by exploding all those green gems with the extra turn and the safety of a couple of, or 3 summons at the same time. Hopefully you don't need 3 summons, but they're there in case you need it. Like I say, I'm going with a King Gobtruffle extra here, but High King Ironcut will work really well if you've got a high attack for this. You can put on medals to increase your attack if you want to boost that up even higher. But yeah, some really good options for this, but this should work an absolute treat. So let's take a look at this. This is the same as what I had before, so no need to change anything. This is the same as what we had from the... Yeah, exactly the same. So yeah, let's dive in. Again, on the higher levels of this, won't be mega crazy Carlos Hyper Fandango fast, but it will still be quick enough. Because remember, we don't get the Potion of Explosion or the enchanty stuff on this. We have to collect mana manually at the beginning, but once this gets going, it should be pretty decent. Let's grab some of that. Fundingus is ready. Let's do that. That will get our Gobtruffle up. Gobtruffle. Why can't I say Gobtruffle today? Gobtruffle up. Gobtruffle up. Yes, that'll get our Gobtruffle up. Yeah, I've started saying it. I've my own tongue twister. Grab your lantern every single week from Matey Boy Chinface, Mr. T Wannabe, and work your way through the Underspire. I've done an Underspire guide for this. Just chuck in Underspire guide in the search part of my channel and you will find that, and it's a really handy guide because if you don't know how to do Underspire properly yet, by properly I mean by saving gems, there's a technique to it. Rooms you go through. What did I get that for? Should have got brown or yellow. To save yourself gems, you can easily go through with just a small amount of luck and cost you between 600 and 700 gems a week rather than 1,000 odd. So it's a significant saving in gems. And time as well, because you go through it by clearing less rooms with a basic rule of 6 and 7, as I called it. But yeah, Underspire, really good guaranteed rewards. You can get like 2 times major orbs of glory, 2 of the silver orbs of glory, 2 of the normal ones. You can get 2 imperial deeds. You can get 2 orbs of minions. You do need lanterns to double up those rewards, but yeah, the point is they're there if you want them, and even just single ones of all those rewards are really good to get on a weekly basis. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a loopy machine, this one. Can be very reliable in the early stages. And come into its own later on when the Underspire expands and gets a lot harder. The fact we can loop with this is going to make it much, much safer on those later levels. But do concentrate on getting up the weapon as soon as possible by collecting yellow or brown, because once this gets going, it is actually really, really hard to stop. Because the way everybody just feeds into each other. We are going to lose a turn here, though. No, we're not. No, we're not. Don't be silly. This has barely failed to lose a turn yet, this team. If you use it in the correct way. You've got to be pretty unlucky to lose a turn in a way, too. Once it gets going, have we got any brown or yellow? Yes, we have. Sneaky bit of brown up the top there. Let's get rid of him. If he's annoying. And another extra turn there, and job done. That got up the Norbert's turnip, which will just hit someone and charge the team up again. So yeah. Well, the last one. Let's bash the Snow Guardian round the nose, round the carrot face. And let's grab them first. Have we got any yellow or brown? I don't think we have, but we've got a purple thing up top there. Oh, look at that. That was rather nifty. That sneak attack just took someone out. Might as well get Gobtruffle up on his own then. Still had a bit of stumble over Gobtruffle up. What a weird combination of words. Gobtruffle up. Anyway. Right, there it is. That's the Underspire. It's not going to be the quickest thing in the world this week because of the nature of the team, but you can stick in a hiking Iron Gut if you have it, just to make things a little bit quicker on the chomping side of things. If he's feeling a bit peckish, you can fly your way through on that way too. But yes, the Underspire team all done, and there's the video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button, like it, hype it, all that malarkey, all good to me, all helps the channel out, and I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.